9:11. Have you ever wondered what God's plan is for your life? Have you ever felt lost, uncertain, or confused, asking, Lord, what do you want me to do? If you have, you are not alone. Every believer longs to walk in God's will, to know His direction, and to be assured that their life is unfolding according to His divine plan. Yet at times, the will of God seems hidden. We pray for guidance, but we don't always receive immediate answers. We desire clarity, yet God often calls us to walk by faith, not by sight. This can be frustrating, especially when we are going through hardships. We may feel like we are wandering, questioning if we have taken a wrong turn, or if God has forgotten about us. But let me remind you today, God's will is never late, never wrong, and never out of reach. His plan for you is unfolding perfectly, even when you cannot see it. Trusting God, even when you don't understand the Bible, is full of stories of men and women who walked in God's will, even when they didn't understand it at first. Joseph was given a dream of greatness, yet he was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. It seemed as if his life was moving in the opposite direction of God's promise. But what Joseph didn't see was that God was working behind the scenes, preparing him for something far greater than he imagined. When the time was right, Joseph was elevated to a position of power, and he was able to save his family and an entire nation from famine. Moses was chosen by God to lead Israel out of Egypt, yet he spent 40 years in the wilderness before he was ready for his calling. He probably questioned why God was allowing him to be in exile, why things didn't happen faster. But God was refining him, shaping him into the leader he was meant to be. Even Jesus himself prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, Father, if it is your will, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours, be done. Luke 22:42. Jesus submitted to the will of the Father, knowing that through his sacrifice, redemption would come to the world. These stories remind us that God's will is sometimes a process. It is not always easy, nor is it always clear. But it is always good, always purposeful, and always leading to something greater than we can imagine.